O'Neill Outside Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors. CVA muzzleloaders, it's just a better gun. Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. Works Power and Garden Tools. Toyota, let's go places. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Swaggerty's Sausage, the finest premium pork sausage products. Tough Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings.
Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait.
Arctic Ice, the most durable, versatile, and effective cooler packs for the outdoorsman. Terminator, the best food plot implements on Earth. And the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, state parks, and historic sites.
From Black Powder headquarters in the Bojangles studio from Three Falls Cabin in the North Georgia Mountains, O'Neill Outside presents CVA Radio. For anything in the outdoors, this is your source. Listen in and call the show with your comments or questions. And now, here's O'Neill.
Good morning, boys and girls. This is O'Neill stepping on the radio intro, and welcome to the program. This is Real Tree Radio, brought to you by CVA. Got a lot of sponsors I have to mention in there. Welcome to the program, everyone. We have 2 hours of outdoors headed your way. No political conversations, questions, or anything of that nature. It isn't that, quite frankly, refreshing. It is to me. I don't watch the news anymore. I don't listen to the news anymore, which is maybe I shouldn't say that because I'm with WSB, but I just can't stand it anymore. So I'd rather talk about outdoors with your family, hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, and all those things that really are lasting in our lives. So it's my intention to tell you now that this program is brought to you every Saturday morning by Works Tools, Tough Shed, Stripling's General Store, Snellville Heating and Air, Rocco's Pub, CVA Muzzleloaders, Gin Spring Power Generators, Swaggerty's, and Mark Hurd Fuel. If there are no sponsors, there will be no show. We do this for money, but I can't figure out who in the world's idea was this. I question it every Saturday morning. Who thought of getting up at 2:30 to do this? Man, oh man. Well, you can listen to the show at 95.5 FM WSB and AM 750 across the eastern United States, and the Sports Map Radio Network throughout Greenville, Raleigh, up through the East Coast and all over the country, Maine to Florida, and Seattle to LA. And we hope you'll tune in over the next 2 hours and we'll participate. We have a lot to talk about: hunting deer in the rut, the winter for largemouth and crappie fishing, the book and the website. We have the radio prize package, the Axis Tool trivia question, and the Medal of Honor tribute, the highlight of the program. And, of course, your calls, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. First commercial break, and we'll be back to talk to you. How about that? Okay? Okay. 12 after the hour, you're listening to O'Neill Outside on Saturday mornings, the #1 live outdoor-based radio talk show in the country, and we're glad that you're a part of it. Now, we've got a lot of things to discuss, but I want to get to the first question of the day because it's a very interesting one. David is calling, and what is the subject of your call, David?
Well, hey, O'Neill, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
It's strictly an opinion.
Okay.
I want your opinion. Now, it's going to sound strange, but my brother-in-law, my stepson, and my nephew up in right outside the Chattahoochee National Park in Wayburn County swear they saw a puma, a mountain lion, walk across the street. And I said, "You sure it wasn't a bobcat?" They said, "No, this thing weighed 70, 80 pounds. It was the size of a German Shepherd." Is there any chance there's a population of pumas or mountain lions in North Georgia?
Okay. In the number of experts I have asked that question, and the number of photos that I have seen on trail cams, I would have to say Yes. I would think that there were very few, and I thought, and I would swear in a court of law, that I saw a black panther. And I had someone with me, my cameraman, and we saw a panther, a black panther in Alabama. I think the probability is yes.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah,
I mean, it just makes sense. I don't know if population's here or somebody was raising them and one got loose, but people swear up and down they hear it how making it sound.
Uh-huh.
And so anyway, Fish Hook, the local game warden, came out and took some prints, and he swears up and down it is a panther.
Okay.
I mean, just wanted to get your opinion on that. It's sort of I hope they leave it alone. I don't want to. I don't think it's a threat to anybody in particular, But anyway, buddy, I just wanted to check in with you and let you know what I heard.
I appreciate you calling. A great subject, and I agree. I think that say, well, how'd they get here? Well, they may have come up from Florida because there was, and I think still is, what they call a Florida panther.
Right.
And he's not a bobcat because he's got that real long tail. But
they swear it was size of a German Shepherd,
yes.
80 to 100 pounds.
Yeah, and I have asked several experts about the likelihood that I really and truly indeed saw a black panther. And I'll tell you the story. It's kind of interesting. I was going to a man's private lake to his land, and he's got a lake on it and a little cabin, and we were going to fish there. And I saw this thing when I was riding in on a dirt road that was about a mile long. And I saw it, and I looked at my cameraman and I said, "What did we just see?" And he told me, and when the owner got there, without prompting him, I said, on the way in this morning, and he interrupted. He said, "You saw a panther, didn't you?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I did." So it wasn't that I influenced him to answer that way. He answered ahead of me, saying, "Yes, 4 other people have seen that animal." So, what the heck? Maybe it is. Hey, that's good. That's kind of fun.
Well, they deserve a right to be here too.
Oh, absolutely.
Anyway, I have seen. Now I know this is strange. I have seen a cinnamon-colored bear. I mean, it was blonde almost. It was. I don't know if it was albino or, but I mean, this is a big bear, probably 200 pounds.
Okay.
And it was cinnamon-colored or light tan, and I know for a fact that was a black bear.
Yes,
I mean,
there is
I saw it.
There is a strain of black bears and I have one that I took during a television show in Idaho, and he was a black bear, of course, but I would say he's rust-colored, blonde, but he's called a blonde bear. But you saw that correctly also.
Right. I just wanted to get to the bottom of that. It's been bugging me.
Yeah, it's fun.
But anyway, now I just want to touch base with you, and you have a great holiday, okay, buddy?
You do. You too, pal. Thanks for calling. 17 after the hour. Isn't that great? I love the things in the outdoors, and we are so fortunate now everybody has a cell camera, so you can take so many photos of high-quality photos that you can refer to over and over and over and over again the rest of your life and have them printed out. It's great fun. With that in mind, let's see if I have a call here. I don't think so. With that in mind, I offer to you the following suggestion. When you take a deer this fall, and of course there'll be somewhere around 2 or 3 thousand deer taken just in Georgia alone, and all over the country, white-tailed and mule deer. Please, as you take your photo of the animal and please be very particular about how you stage that photo. Whether you're using a rifle or a bow, put that in there. Make sure the rifle is not pointed at your face. Always have in your pocket some rags and so forth to clean the deer up, to clean the blood off of his nose and face and mouth. If his tongue is hanging out, cut his tongue off. If you've got a bloody hole on the side of him, cover it up, wipe it off and cover it up with dirt. Clean him up, because that series, those pictures, those photos that you're going to take of him and show off and refer to the rest of your life, you need to take a few minutes and clean him up and make that photo all it can and should be. Okay? After all, the hunt is now over. So be patient and take your time. I know I have taken some bad photos in years past, but on some of the hunts that I went on in the last few years with some guides and experts, I'm no expert hunter nor an expert fisherman, but I listen to people when they tell me and make recommendations about that sort of thing, and I can tell you it really does work for you to be patient in that regard. Okay? Got it? And I think I have time for this. I'm going to tell you. Everybody's taking a lot of whitetail deer now. Throughout the South, Texas, up into Wyoming, all over the United States, the whitetail deer season is in or just is ending. In some places, it's just giving it a start. I'll bet you didn't know this, but I've done a little research. In areas where the mule deer, there is a population of both mule deer and whitetails, according to the Quality Deer Management Association and other scientific studies that I trust, 14% of all the bucks you see during those hunts, during those places where you have those combined populations, 14% are combinations. They are a combination of a muley and a whitetail. And can you spot them on your own? Maybe. The antlers, of course, are very distinctive. And on the mule deer, you have that really dark line over his eyes on his forehead. He looks like he's worried to me. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. And upon our return from the short break coming up, we will have the first radio prize package question of the morning. And I'll bet you know the answer, and you can win a nice prize. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside and CVA Radio, and we'll be back. Okay, here we go. The telephone numbers for the televised version of the radio program and WSB and the Sports Map Radio for you to speak with us this morning, to offer your suggestions, answer our questions, and so forth, and interact with O'Neill. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and throughout the country at 800-972-8255, 800-972-8255. We're going to get to the radio prize package question in just a moment, but I would love to hear from you today, both fishermen, hunters, outdoorsmen. What is the best destination, the best trip, the greatest adventure, fishing, hunting, whatever, that you ever witnessed, that you ever took, that you ever experienced? What was the best one that carries on in your life, that you'll always remember, that was the most productive or the most fun for you, your children, your family, whatever? I'd like to know what that one is. Being in the business that I'm in, I've been on some fabulous adventures and into Canada for whitetail, Alaska. I've been to Africa, Costa Rica, Argentina. And for me, the greatest adventure was to go to Argentina for red stag. But anyway, I'd like to hear from that. All right, how about the radio prize package? You know, of course, the radio prize package question is always a personal question because the radio prize package is intended for those people who listen to the show, and you will not have or not likely get the winners of these unless you are a frequent listener to the program. The rules are, you know the telephone numbers. The rules are you cannot have won the radio prize package for, let's say, the last 6 months, and you have to be 18 years old to win. And here is the radio prize package list. A Bojangles coupon, a coupon for Swaggerty Sausage, DNR Rigs magazine, a great charcoal lighter from Big Green Egg, Arctic Ice Packs, Angler Magazine, Georgia State Parks Guide, Fisher's Choice Baits, a Hydro Shot glass from Works Tools and Positech. Hydro Shot. And the question is, Gail and I have 2 daughters, and we have 2 sons-in-law. What is the first name of either one of those? And we're ready to take your calls on that subject and others, of course. And maybe somebody will win the radio prize package very quickly. All right, it's 28 after the hour. Okay, let's go ahead and see if we can handle a couple of these. Oh, since it's so closely related, let's talk with John from Lilbert, and he wants to talk about the Panther talk. What do you say, John?
Hey, good morning, O'Neill. How you doing?
Good.
Are you with? Yeah, good. Listen, I grew up in South Georgia, but we hunted, right close to the Florida line.
Uh-huh.
And there was lots of panther at that point, but they kind of moved south. I don't know why. From South Georgia, they moved kind of back and forth. But I tell you, if you've ever heard one of those guys howl at night, it'll scare you out of you. But the thing about that, the Black Panther, I thought interesting when I was growing up. My dad had told me one reason why deer are successfully hunted out of a deer stand is because by nature anymore they don't look up.
Right.
As long as you're quiet and still, shooting it, on the ground is one thing, but if you up out of a tree, because their only natural enemy was the Black Panther.
Yes, right.
And other tree and this.
The enemies are other land-based animals, not overhead.
Correct. And that's why they rarely look up unless you give them a reason.
Yeah, I've had. I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have too. You've had whitetail deer walk right under you on the stand.
Oh yeah, I've had them stand there and look at my deer stand and wonder what those little iron legs are, what those wooden sticks are going up into the tree. But they rarely look up the run.
That's right.
They'll stare at it and just turn around and just walk away or whatever. But I just thought it was sort of interesting, through the years they just don't look up anymore.
Yeah.
And that's our advantage, being in a tree stand.
That's natural.
That's kind of interesting.
That's natural now. It sure is. So have you taken any, John, have you taken any deer this year?
I have not gone this year. And if you're inviting, I'm going. I just haven't gone.
Okay, well, the rut's going on, that's for sure.
I know, and it really bothers me I haven't gone, but I can't much hunt anymore. I don't walk well, so it's kind of hard to get in the woods. But yeah, I got a lot of memories.
You betcha.
Memories, so.
That's what counts. That's why we do it.
And I listen to O'Neill on Saturday morning, so
there you
what
go.
everybody else is doing.
Thanks for calling, John. I always appreciate to look up on the screen and see your name.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure every week, I tell you.
You bet.
Just listen.
You bet. I'll see you later, pal. 31 after the hour right now. Now let's talk to...
Hey, O'Neill.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
People are getting confused with the prize pack question. They think you're naming your daughters and not the son-in-laws.
Okay. All right. I just got notice from WSB that people are confused with my radio prize package question. I have 2 daughters. What I'm looking for, and the answer is, what is the name of my 2 sons-in-law? Follow? And two of them, 2 sons-in-law. What are their first names? Not my daughter's first names. So maybe you get back on the right track. It's 31 after the hour right now. Now let's talk up. I missed him, didn't I? With Larry and Lithonia. See if he's still on there. Larry, are you on there, sir?
Hey, O'Neill, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good. I'm good to hear from you, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm a Georgian native. My family is Georgian native, and from basically Hall and Banks County.
Uh-huh.
And my grandfather used to chase pumas away from his chickens with firewood.
Oh,
Sticks of firewood.
How about that?
My dad, he's passed now, but we all run coon hounds, squirrel dogs, beagle dogs, and in Jefferson County about 10 years ago, one jumped across the road in front of Dad. My dad's an extreme outdoorsman, he was, and for him to misidentify anything it just ain't gonna happen. And if he said a puma jumped across the road in front of him in Jefferson County, it did.
I got you.
And then I've seen when Outdoor News used to run they run a puma contest if anybody could prove that they're in Georgia. And there were several pictures that they caught on trail cam that they disclaimed, in which I can assure you they were pumas. I guess they didn't want to pay out the money.
No.
But at any rate, they're here. They are black phases of them. They claim that the black phase only occurs in the jaguar family, which I don't believe that. I don't believe that, but the jaguar in the 1930s in this country were way up in Texas, Arizona, even as far as Oklahoma, because I knew houndsmen that had ran them, treed them. I have treed them way back in the day in the Johns Creek community.
No kidding.
There was a particular piece of property that us coon hunters would stay away from, because every time we went on it, we would get after something that would run and tree and then jump out as you get close.
Okay.
Now, there's 2 things that do that. There's bear and 3 things: bear, bobcat, and puma. If you're a houndsman, you know that those 3 things will do that when your dogs are after them.
Well, I got to tell you, Larry, as many comments that I've received, as many people that have told me, as many photos as I've seen, I do believe we have some here.
Oh yes, we do, and it's going to take a specimen for the biologist and the DNR to claim it. But I just wish that if hunters see one, please don't shoot it.
No.
Please don't shoot it. Just let them walk.
Let them walk. Take a picture. Get that.
Yeah, amen. That's exactly it. Just let them walk, guys. There's no need to kill those. If you want to kill something, get the coyotes.
Oh man, yeah.
We can hardly find any rabbits anymore because of the coyotes. They're just annihilating the rabbit population.
Yeah, and part of the problem with that, and it will not be corrected. See, the coyote has no natural enemies here.
Exactly, except us.
Except us. Well, there used to be many years ago. There was a red wolf.
Right.
But the DNR tried to reestablish that population about 20 years ago, and it failed.
Right.
That would have helped. But correct, we have no natural enemies, and yes, I believe and it may not even disturb your hunt. If you're in the stand and you see a coyote, shoot him.
Amen. I was told by Dean, I was taking some boys to a hunter safety course, and on a break, the ranger that was teaching the course, he asked me. He said, "You seen any coyotes on your lease?" And I'm like, "No, not really." I said, "We hear them occasionally at night." And he said, "Friend, shoot them on sight." He said they're going to annihilate. And this was years ago.
Yeah.
He said they're going to annihilate the small game.
You bet.
And as you see trail cams where they're now attacking deer.
You bet. Larry, I got to go, pal. I'm glad you called.
Yeah,
Good
bro,
luck.
yo.
Be sure and call me back next week, okay? This is O'Neill. We'll be back with the radio prize package question. 40 minutes after the hour. Welcome back, everyone. We're having a difficulty getting the answer to the radio prize package. I'll ask it again. Gail and I have 2 daughters. They are both married. Give me the first name of either one of my sons-in-law. Okay? And win a nice radio prize package. I'm not giving up on it. If nobody gets it, I just won't give away the radio prize package. All right, let's get back to the callers if we can. Here's Tony. Here's Tony calling from Ackworth on O'Neill Outside. Good morning, Tony. Did I lose Tony? After all that time. I'm sorry, Tony. It took a long time to get to you. All right, let's see who's up next. That might be Mo is calling from Toccoa. What a great little town. Good morning, Mo.
What's up, O'Neill?
Hey,
I'm so daggone happy I could flip and just stand on my head and gargle peanut butter, man. I've been trying to get in touch with you for a long time. I'm going to have to sit on my hands and keep from waving at everybody.
Well, I'm glad you made it.
I got a story for you.
I'm ready.
All right. Now, I used to be a punch-out carpenter at Harbor Point Yacht Club, and we're on Dock 7, and we see this plastic bag floating up in this cove. We're like, what is that? And it goes down and comes back up. So I hop on a little paddle boat, and I paddle out there, and I scream back to my buddy. I said, man, it's a two-tailed fish. He said, a two-tailed fish? I said, man, there's a tail in the front and a tail in the back. Guess what it was, O'Neill?
What?
Guess what it was?
What?
It was a striper that had swallowed a catfish headlong, and he was floundering. He couldn't breathe. He couldn't swim. He was about to die. It was literally a two-tailed fish. A catfish in the front with his tail out, and a striper. I guess he was hungry.
Yeah, he was hungry, and he didn't realize, of course, with the catfish, with that dorsal fin and those 2 pectoral fins sticking out, I always bet he was having a hard time getting that down his throat.
Oh, he couldn't do it. I think his stomach was bigger than his eyeballs.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a lot of that, and you probably have too, with a bass, a largemouth, or a spot, trying to swallow a brim.
I have.
Yeah,
I have.
That's right.
I got another story for you real quick if you got time.
Sure, absolutely.
All right. My mom used to be a dairy farmer way up in Lafayette, Georgia, which is where I went to school. And there was this old dried-up pond out on the McConnell dairy. And I asked him if I could go fishing. And he said, son, there isn't anything out there. Now, I want you to know I took a little bucket of worms out there, and every time the bait hit the top of the water, brim. I come back with a 5-gallon bucket full, and he could not believe that those fish come out of that pond.
How about that? Well, they were concentrated,
pasture.
And it's worthwhile because it's a good tasting critter, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I always left when I cleaned brim. I scaled them, and I always left the fins on them because they taste so good.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah, oh yeah. The fins are nice and crunchy when I fry them up.
Oh, I'll be dang. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that. Never heard of that.
You betcha. Hey, so a couple of good stories. Thanks for taking the time to call.
Hopefully I'll talk to you soon, sir.
Me too. I enjoy that very much. I'm glad you called. Let's see. It's 43 after the hour, and let's talk. Who's up next? Let's talk to Don. He's calling from Dallas. Good morning, Don. What do you think?
Good morning, O'Neill. How are you doing, sir?
Good.
It's a privilege to talk to you. You know, I've been listening to you since I was a little kid in my dad's truck every Saturday morning going to the deer woods.
That's quite a compliment, and I thank you.
I got hooked on deer hunting when I saw my dad. We came from New Jersey. I saw my dad he went on his first deer hunt trip, came home, told my mom and I about how he got his first deer, and he was on his hands and knees giving me the story, and I was sold ever since then.
Oh, fantastic.
I'll tell you a couple stories real quick. One, and you probably won't remember this, but I'm going to tell you it was a highlight for my dad and I. We were probably at a Braves game, maybe 04, 03, 04, somewhere around there.
Uh-huh.
And we were lower level, behind the Braves dugout, sitting there. I think it was between innings. And I looked walking up from a little below us, walking up was Mr. O'Neill.
Uh-oh.
And I recognized him. My dad did not. And I said, Mr. O'Neill. And you said, yes, sir. And you stopped. And we started talking about fishing that my dad and I used to do on West Point. You sat right beside us and gave us the time to talk to us about fishing at West Point, and it was the highlight of the evening, and I appreciate you doing that.
Well, you're very kind to refer to it as that, and I can assure you I enjoyed it just as much as you did.
And all right, and so I've been, like I said, I've been hunting, 45 years now, and probably the two best hunting trips I've ever made, and you probably can relate to this too. As many deer and as ducks as I've shot in great days I've had with my buddies. One of the highlights is my son, when he got his first deer. I shot one. He wasn't far from me. I shot one, and, nowadays with technology, he was a teenager. He texted me and said, was that you? I said, yeah, I got one. He said, all right, I'm coming down. I said, no, stay there. There's two of them. There was two of them. One of them's walking your way. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, I'm going to get down. I said, nope, just wait. About 10 minutes later, he shot and got his first deer. By the time I walked to him, about 5 minutes,
we have a winner.
He was shaking like a leaf in that tree, and I knew he was hooked too.
That's great. That's a good story and a great demo not to get in a hurry when you're deer hunting.
That's right. And last story, and I'll let you go, and I do appreciate your time. My favorite time of all this hunting, my favorite trip, was and my dad unfortunately passed away tragically in that flood in 2009.
Oh.
So my memories, obviously, hunting with him is going to be way more than any size of the air I could ever shoot. And anytime you can hunt with your dad or your son is always going to be one of your favorite trips. But I remember the first trip my dad and I took my son. My dad was up in a tree stand, just 10 yards from us, up in the tree. And my son and I are on the ground, and here I am, probably in my early 30s, trying to be serious about deer hunting. And I look at these two clowns. My dad's up in the tree stand making faces at my son, and my son's making faces back.
Oh.
And they're moving around and laughing and joking, and I'm trying to be serious. And I would do anything for that moment again. So
that's
like
wonderful.
I said, hunting.
What a great
hunting
story.
with your dad and with your son is the best. I appreciate your time, O'Neill.
Terrific. Glad you called, and I appreciate the kind story about meeting at the ballpark.
Yes, sir.
That's really quite kind. Thank you very much.
You.
Okay, we have incidentally, we have a winner with a radio prize package. But right now, let's go because he's been holding on quite a while. Let's talk to John from Powder Springs. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Mr. O'Neill. How are you doing today?
Lovely. What's your Panther story?
I was hiking up on Panther Creek many years ago, back in the late 70s.
Okay, I know where that is.
And there's one part of the trail that stretches around there, and I've been camping out up there that weekend,
mm-hmm.
and I was burning a big old pine knot that morning, so I know I smelled like pine smoke. So that lets you pretty much sneak up on anything if you're careful enough.
Yes.
And there's one place on that trail where the rock heads out toward the river or the creek, and it's kind of an overhang. You got to get up on your toes and go around that, or take the long way around. Anyway, as I came around the end of that rock, stretched out on top of that rock was a panther.
How about that?
Now, we were eyeball to eyeball when I came around that point. It evidently couldn't see me until I got around the end of it. We were about 14, 15 inches apart.
Oh, my goodness.
And you talk about a beautiful animal. Their fur looks black from a distance, but when you get up close like that, it's actually a real dark blue.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, in the sun, gorgeous creature. And that cat laid there probably, it seemed like weeks at that time. I knew it could hear my eyeballs squeaking. Anyway, it lay there probably 3 or 4 minutes before it just started creeping backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And the muscles on those animals, holy moly.
It's a substantial, he's a substantial hunter.
That I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
That critter was absolutely gorgeous.
That's a good story. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was that. And my favorite outing story was a scouting outing that took place in the early 70s or late 60s when we went deep sea fishing. And all 14 of us on that trip limited out. It was a captain of the Osprey. I can't remember his name nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time ago. But every one of us limited out on that trip. We had a fish fry that was unbelievable.
Oh, I'll bet so. I hope you took some pictures. Now you'll remember it forever, and the pictures will help.
Well, the pictures disappeared in a flood.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
along with everything else.
You know something? You know what we should all do, and then I'll shut up and go to something else. If you don't have photos, okay, keep a diary of your trips. And because you will, I'm 77 years old, and I have some of my trips recalled for me. People will say, well, remember when we did this? Remember when we did that? I think, no, I don't. Because it was so long ago I didn't take photos, but you should write them down, and that will help.
That's what your books are about.
That is exactly right. Did you get one? Did you read it?
Yes, sir.
Well, good deal. I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, but of course.
I hope so.
It's kind of like being right there.
Yeah, kind of like, yeah, that's right. Well, there's some interesting characters. Hey, thanks for calling.
All right, Norris Craft Driver to Norris Craft Driver. You have a good one.
You bet. You too. There you go. All right, very quickly, let's get our radio prize package winner. The question is, Gail and I have 2 daughters, and therefore, 2 sons-in-law. Name either one of those sons-in-law with their first name. And I'm talking to Tommy, and Tommy says one of the first names is?
That would be Joe.
Joe, that's right. In Homer, Georgia, Joe Morvick, a nice guy and quite talented. He's a bulldozer operator and an engineer. I got to go quickly, but how is it that you know Joe?
Hey, O'Neill, I can't tell you my secrets. I actually looked it up on Facebook.
Ah, good for you. Whatever got it. Do we have your information now about where to send the radio prize package?
You do, sir. I enjoy your show.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate you taking the time to look it up. It makes me feel better that somebody knows him. Even if you have to look it up.
Have a great day.
Thanks, pal.
Sir. Have a great day.
You bet. There goes Tommy. We have Paul in Brookhaven and Wayne in Bowling Green, and we'll get to you guys, I promise, right after this break. This is O'Neill with CVA Radio, brought to you by Works Tools, by Real Tree, by Big Green Egg, by Ritter Critter. Oh, you bet it. Let me see. What are all those names? I love every one of you. CVA muzzleloaders. If there are no sponsors, there will be no show. And next year, just a few weeks, I want you to know, with the help and participation with you guys that call the program and the involvement of the sponsors, 2021 will be our 28th year on radio and our 40th year on television. And I'm very appreciative. And we'll get to these other calls as soon as I get back. This is O'Neill. 57 after the hour. We've got a couple of minutes before we need to go to the next break. So let's go ahead and talk. He's been holding on quite a while. Let's talk to Wade. He's calling from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Good morning, Wade.
Morning, O'Neill. Let me get y'all speaker. Hang on. My bad.
Okay. What's going on?
I am in St. Louis.
Oh, you get around now, I'm telling you.
I ain't the one getting go south fishing all the time.
Oh, okay.
Now, we lost Gary's father on my mama's birthday, which was the third, and my puppy's second birthday, and my third holiday season without mama, which that's okay. She's up there with dancing with. I guess she might be dancing with Mr. Hall today, Gary's daddy. But had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Did you get to see these I sent you?
Did I what? I'm sorry.
I sent you some musical CDs from our church choir.
Yes, I did get those. I hadn't listened to them yet, but yes, I did. Thank you.
All right. No, you got another set on the way.
Boy,
that's
okay.
our fall. I got the Christmas ones on the way.
Oh, boy.
So you can enjoy them for the holidays.
Mighty fine. I appreciate that gesture.
And I'll email you. We're doing everything virtual. We've done a taping at a barn, in the choir loft, in the sanctuary, and on the front steps of our church. And the other day, Tina did they know? It's Christmas, but did they know? And it's off the chart. She's a piano player.
Oh, boy.
And I got you a living proof CD that is her and Steve and Melissa's got a bluegrass and the gospel band.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do. And I'll enjoy it, I'm sure.
And is Miss Williams listening?
No, she's not listening now. She's asleep upstairs.
I got her birdhouse.
Oh, boy.
So you're going to be getting the package. Gary will be back Monday, and we'll go to the post office. I'll get it on the way to you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. What a great gesture. We'll have a great Christmas because of that, and I do appreciate that.
I want y'all to enjoy it. And Mickey Wilby, I talked to Mickey again.
Okay.
He said, "Buddy, keep telling me you keep saying my name on the radio." I'm like, "Well, you trying to promote that guidance service?
Trying to make him famous, huh?"
If you want to catch a crappie, call old Mickey up.
That's right. All right, my friend Wade, you have a great visit wherever it is that you are. You're in such a different place every week, and I appreciate it. It's 59 after the hour. This is O'Neill. Another hour of outdoors, number 2, headed your way in about 6 or 7 minutes, I'll just bet you. You stay right there.
O'Neill Outside Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors. CVA muzzleloaders, it's just a better gun. Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. Works Power and Garden Tools. Toyota, let's go places. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Swaggerty Sausage, the finest premium pork sausage products. Tough Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings.
Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait.
Arctic Ice, the most durable, versatile, and effective cooler packs for the outdoorsman. Terminator, the best food plot implements on Earth. And the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, state parks, and historic sites.
From Black Powder headquarters in the Bojangle studio from Three Falls Cabin in the North Georgia Mountains, O'Neill Outside presents CVA Radio. For anything in the outdoors, this is your source. Listen in and call the show with your comments or questions. And now, here's O'Neill.
Welcome, everyone. This is O'Neill and CVA Radio, brought to you by Realtree and so many other kind sponsors. Let me get to those sponsors, and because I don't want to miss anyone, such as Works Tools, Tough Shed, Striplings, Snellville Heating and Air, Rocco's Pub, CVA muzzleloaders, of course, Gin Spring Power Generators, Swaggerty Sausage, and Mark Hurd Fuel. So I can't get to callers until about 12 after, but I'll get to you pretty soon. This is O'Neill, the #1 live outdoor-based radio talk show in the country, and it's because of you guys. And we have several subjects going on right now. We will have the Axis question in the next half an hour. We'll have the Medal of Honor tribute. Yes, indeed. And it'll be my pleasure to urge you to consider the purchase for Christmas for your outdoor friends and family, my book called O'Neill Outside, 65 Years in the Outdoors, People and Places Along the Way. If you'll look at it on Amazon, it has all 5-star ratings, and you may purchase it from my website at o'neilloutside.com. And if you want, and you buy it from the website, I will personalize it for you and sign it. I think you'll enjoy the book, and for those of you who are on television right now, that's what it looks like. I'm showing it. For you radio guys, I'm showing it on television right now. See that? Okay. It's called People and Places Along the Way. There's several, and it had, I forgot to, the last half of the book are some outstanding, my choice, big green egg recipes. And I'm going to tell you before we go to this break, if you're looking for a gift to give a family member or good friend, a gift for this year that will last them likely the rest of their lives, give them a big green egg. They never wear out. They never fault. And you'll get to keep it and cook on it the rest of your life, 30, 40, 50 years. Anyway, enough of that. We've got to go to our first break in about 5 seconds. Then I'll get to Paul and Donna and Mark and the rest of you guys, I promise. This is O'Neill. 12 after the hour, and on radio right now, you're listening to Nessun Dorma. That's my favorite of all. Songs and performances forever. So anyway, 12 after the hour, we're swamped with calls. We want to get to every single one of them. Let's talk to Paul. He's calling on the show from Brookhaven. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, O'Neill. How you doing this morning?
Pretty good. I thought you may have gone back to sleep there. I'm sorry it took so long.
That's quite all right, not a problem. I hope you can understand me okay. I had a tooth extraction yesterday morning. And I tell you, I'm really feeling it.
Oh, boy. Well, good luck.
Yes.
I can hear you very well.
Well, good. I wanted to share a few stories with you and then ask a question.
Okay.
I remember the first time I went with my family to Florida. And Dad and I, well, all of us were there, just me, my parents, and we were on the pier. We were fishing off the pier. Dad didn't catch anything, and I wound up catching 2 of them, if I remember right, and they were little small ones. But in any case, I just had to rub it in that I won 2-0. And
there you go.
I probably drove Dad nuts.
I'm sure he was proud of you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it doesn't matter if they're small.
That was also the same, the same trip where I played the little hide and seek story on Mom. I don't think I ever told you this one, but I'll go through it briefly. I don't know where Dad was, but anyway, she had laid down to take a nap, and I'd been laying there, and I got up and went to the other end of the motel room, and you know how those sinks are in those motels, they have these huge cabinets under the sink. Well, I was about, good heavens, about 8 years old, I guess, when I did this. I opened up the cabinet, and I crawled in, and I shut the door. And Mom got up, couldn't find me. I heard her open the front door, shut the front door. I thought, yeah, you found out I'm not outside, didn't you? And then she went into the bathroom, didn't find me in the bathroom, and I couldn't hold it in anymore, and I busted out laughing, and, well, I gave myself up. What can I say?
I hope you got a spanking after that.
No, I didn't, honestly, but, well.
Well, I would tell you, I would tell you then you got to hurry so I can go, but I would tell you that had I done that, I would have gotten a spanking. And a good one, I can tell you. All right, what else you got, son?
Oh, man. I was in a lake in Arkansas. I guess this was last year. Yeah, and that lake had a very interesting current to it. At least that's what I blame. I was in this canoe out in the middle of this lake, and if you sat there and didn't do anything, you would go around to the right, and you would go around in a complete circle. It may have taken a while for you to do it, but it would have happened.
Interesting.
Have you ever heard of anything like that?
No, but I would have to say that was probably the old river channel. but I would be purely guessing, just an amateur guess, that there was an old river channel that carried most of that water.
That could be. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
interesting.
That was very interesting phenomenon. I've never experienced anything like that in my life before. It was rather neat, to say the least.
All right. Hey, go get you a new tooth, man.
I know, right?
I'll catch you later, all right? I'll see you
All
soon,
right.
pal. You betcha. Let's see who's up next. Donna is calling from Hall County. Good morning, Donna.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
to you and yours. I was at the source of all great truths this week, also called the hair salon.
Oh, boy.
And saw pictures of a 20-year-old young lady who shot an 8-point buck. She was out kind of in her neck of the woods by herself, and she was introduced to hunting by her long-term boyfriend and his father. So I was very impressed with the picture
Wonderful.
and the description of how people should stage these things. And I would just like to encourage people to encourage young ladies to start. I was most impressed, and she's in the process of having it dressed, and her family likes venison. And I just wanted to share that I know one young lady that hunts, and now I know two.
Wonderful.
So I just wanted to encourage people to remember their young lady relatives when they're trying to decide what to do.
Donna, that is an excellent idea. That is an excellent idea, and without telling the whole story, when I was 18 years old, Gail and I were 18, and on our second or third date, I took her fishing.
Oh dear.
and we've been fishing and so on together now since that time for 58 years.
Well, I'm of the age that I think there's an opportunity to introduce young women to the pleasures of nature, and I don't see it very often. And like I say, it occurs what I call the source of all great truths. The
Yes,
hair
it
salon,
is.
Beauty parlor. And I just wanted to share that they exist, but some man has introduced all of these young women to this, and so I just want to encourage.
Okay, wonderful
remember,
suggestion, and I would say to the audience, to you and the balance of the audience right now, at the what's called from the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, I think it's called Becoming an Outdoors Woman.
You asked me that question once. Do you remember asking me was I an outdoor person? And I had to think about it a while. But I just want to encourage people. I'm so impressed that somebody along the way has thought these girls are willing to tag along, and then they become interested. And
Absolutely.
Now they have guns. Has to start somewhere with an invitation.
Yeah. Wonderful story. Thanks for calling, Donna. I always enjoyed it.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, and I always enjoy looking up on the screen and seeing that you're calling.
Thank you. Happy
bet.
holidays to everybody. Bye.
See you soon. There you are. All right, let's see who's up. Hey, here's our old buddy. Next up is Mark from Camden County. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, O'Neill. How you doing today?
Good. Where are you headed?
I'm going to go up to the farm, sit around, and maybe convince myself shoot a doe, but probably not. I'm tagged out on the bucks.
Okay.
But you're talking about relating stories. I mean, between you and I, we could probably talk all day and into the night and not cover everything we've done.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to relate one story from when I was in the 21st Security Police Squadron in Anchorage, Alaska. I had one of my guys that was in my unit. He spent about 21 months up there and didn't really do much of anything other than go to work and sit around in the dorm. And one of our 3-day breaks, I convinced him to go down to the Kenai Peninsula and go salmon fishing with me.
Okay.
And in that 3-day break, we caught more salmon than I would dare to try to guess.
Oh, boy.
And I remember heading back to Anchorage, and he was beside himself that he had sat up there in Alaska for 21 months and hadn't done anything.
Oh, man.
He only had, he was shipping out in like 6 weeks, and I told him, I said, look, we've got 4 or 5 more 3-day breaks together before you leave. I'll get you out and do as much as what we can before you leave. And he had a blast.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And,
good story.
My advice to anybody, you're talking about your greatest stories, go make those greatest stories. Don't watch O'Neill down at Cajun Vista Lodge fishing and think you'd like to go do that, go do that.
Go do it. Absolutely.
Right. You watching Tom Miranda bow hunting, whatever, an elk in Wyoming. I mean, go do it.
Go do it. You'll remember it forever.
And if you don't, you'll regret it.
Yeah,
that's right. Gray-haired like we are now, I mean, time's finite, buddy. Don't waste your time.
You bet. Time is a runner.
You got that right. Plan your trips, go do it.
You bet. Good luck to you today, pal. Hey, just relax for a day, and then call and tell me about that, too.
I surely will. That's what I plan on doing today anyway.
Mighty fine. See you soon, pal. 21 after the hour. This is O'Neill Outside, Real Tree Radio and CVA Radio. And upon our return, we'll handle our calls with Mac and John. Then we'll have the Axis Tool prize package question. This Axis Tool you're going to enjoy, and I have a very interesting question, and I'll be back with that. There we are. Radio and television all together at the same time is thrilling, really. 25 after the hour. You're listening to and watching O'Neill Outside Saturday mornings all across the country. And let's talk now to Mac. Mac is calling because he always has a great report. Good morning, Mac.
Good morning, O'Neill.
Is it wintertime fishing yet?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's
I'm not a bit surprised.
Yeah, it got that way last week, matter of fact.
Okay.
But there's always a catch, right? Mm-hmm. And when guys go to the lake today, you're going to look at your sonar, and it's going to say 59, 58 degrees, depending on where you're at, which is really pretty warm for this calendar date.
Yes.
But the fish are acting like you would expect them to. Basically, the patterns are simple. No matter what you're fishing for, look, the fish are in ditches and drains.
Mm-hmm.
They're spread out depth-wise, but if I had to pick a number, if you look around 35 or 45 feet, 35 to 45 feet, find a ditch or a drain, if there's bait in it, you'll probably have fish in it, bass and or stripers.
All right, let me ask you a question. For somebody that goes out with you probably the first time, would you say that they are extraordinarily surprised at the depth you fish?
Yes, and some of them are extraordinarily surprised how deep this lake is.
Yes.
Because they don't know. Mm-hmm. And, you talk to somebody from South Georgia, 40 feet, they don't have that much line on their reel. They don't have to. And, we start at 40 feet. So, yeah, how deep is a relative term, but basically from here into Tennessee, upstate of South Carolina,
mm-hmm.
most of the lakes are very similar to the near in depth, and some of them, like Carter's, are even deeper.
Oh, man.
So,
I've caught spotted bass on a plastic worm at Carter's Lake at 60 feet before.
Yes. That's probably pretty common for them. If you go up to Lake Kiowee, upstate of South Carolina.
Yes.
Big, deep, clear lake, those guys regularly catch fish 60 to 80. Mm-hmm. They look for them. That's not an anomaly. They look for them that deep.
There you go.
And they'll get that deep on Lanier, and I've called them deeper. I don't target them that deep because here a lot of times pulling up out of deep water kills a lot of them, quite frankly. I also don't think you need to fish that deep. I think the numbers are greater at 35, 40. That's a pretty common setup. That's where our bait tends to set up in the winter, and that's where you probably have the greatest number of fish. So if you're going today, though, that's the pattern. Find the ditches and drains with bait. If you got the bait, you probably have some fish around, and overall fish has been pretty good. They are locked in on little bitty baits, so they're a little bit finicky, so downsizing will help.
That's right. That's all you need to downsize line and size of bait, right?
Line size, hook size, bait size. Get you more bites.
Well, excellent advice, not only for Lake Lanier, where you're going today, but lakes, as you mentioned, all across the South and up into the the Appalachians.
Absolutely, no doubt.
Bet. Excellent call. Thank you, Mac.
Everybody get outside, be safe, have fun, and we'll talk to you next week.
You bet. Thanks for calling, pal. Well, that's always a productive call. 28 minutes after the hour. Let's talk to John, who's calling from the Catskill Mountains of New York. Good morning, John.
Yes, greetings from the Catskill Mountains. You wanted me to call you back in a couple of weeks about that one buck I was targeting on the property up here.
Yes.
Yeah, he was the biggest one I've ever seen. I photographed him, and his procreating days are over, O'Neill. 4 weeks to the day when I first saw him, actually, I ended up getting him. And,
congratulations!
I'll be putting him in the
Good
freezer
for you.
today. Yep.
It's a worthwhile challenge and added adventure for you to be hunting one particular deer.
Yes, I was disappointed the first 2 days I hunted down the area. All I saw was a little spike horn. Then I hunted around the mountain, different spots. What's unique this year is our acorn crop. And exclusively on our property, we have a lot of oak trees. And the trails coming in from the deer from all around are phenomenal. And then after they eat, they leave. And that's what this guy was doing. He was actually almost off the property when I ended up getting him. He was going to his bedding area. He had filled himself up with acorns. So I was very thankful to get him.
Yeah, the deer will walk. Whitetail deer will walk through a bucket of corn or walk over a bucket of corn to get to acorns.
It's phenomenal.
Yes.
And the turkeys are enjoying it too. Now your first caller, forgive me if I forgot his name, but he talked about panthers or mountain lions in the area down by you guys. The same thing up here. People always saying, oh, I seen this cat thing with a long tail run across in front of me and what have you. Many stories about it, but there's been no real proof that I've ever heard of or I've ever seen. I wish I would see something like that, but no solid concrete evidence up here in the Catskills that I know of,
I see.
But,
well, I know I have
seen
seen one.
Good talk.
I have seen one in Alabama. I have a question for you, John. What's, if you don't mind, this is research about the radio show. What station are you listening to now?
Well, it's our battery-operated radio, and even the guys up here, I says, I don't think people believe me that I'm picking up WSB out of Atlanta, Georgia on this radio up here.
I'm not surprised.
Now, maybe there's certain factors. Yeah, O'Neill, we're on the south side of this mountain. It's got a grand view south, and the mountain itself is shaped like a baseball glove. Roughly. So I'm thinking it captures the radio frequencies too, and and we're up higher. We have a real good view. So we're picking you up on the radio.
Well, one of the things that has to do, one of the primary thing that has to do with that, of course, is that WSB radio is what's called a Class A station. So it broadcasts at 50,000 watts even overnight. That is what made. Remember a radio guy years ago called Wolfman Jack?
Yeah.
He was out of Tijuana, Mexico, and he broadcast overnight at 250,000 watts. And overnight, you could hear Wolfman Jack in Nova Scotia. And so that's how it works. And the other contributing factor for WSB out of Atlanta is that Atlanta and the surrounding territory is the dirt or the soil is red clay. And the signal bounces off of that red clay and heads your way like a rocket.
Well, we actually picked you up better than some of the local channels this time of morning.
Well,
believe that.
Yeah, this time of the morning, unless you're a Class A station, you're probably at 500 watts. Because all the other stations...
Now, O'Neill... Yep. Yeah, I was going to mention, I think it's the 21st of this month, Saturn and Jupiter are going to be real close together. They're talking about in the western sky. It's sundown. It's something for people, and it's not going to be like that for another 20 years or whatever. So people want to observe that. The astronomical.
When is that, John?
Of our area. I think it's the 21st is when they're going to be right next to each other. They're getting close and close. Each night when the sun sets, there they are up there.
Fascinating.
And, they're getting closer and closer each night. Yep.
Fascinating.
Yep.
One more thing, and then, of course, I can't shut up when I'm talking to you because it's most interesting, but I will just tell you the following. Ready? Space.
Yep.
Space is well defined. It's very well named.
Interesting.
Space, because the space up there above us is extensive. So, hey, glad you called, John. Congratulations. Congratulations on getting the deer that you were hunting.
Yep, thank you.
You bet. Care. Stay in touch. I'll see you next week.
Okay.
Thanks, pal. All right, let's see. Let's get to, we've probably got time right now to talk to Ken in Cumming. He's real smart. I know he can handle the subject. Good morning.
Space, the final frontier.
Yes. Just let's think about this. It's part of your time in calling, but when you look at the sky with the naked eye, every star reflecting that you see is 20 million miles away from the other star.
Goodness gracious, those are facts and figures.
Oh, boy. It's fun. Okay, what's going on with you, sir? You got a minute?
I do. Quick question. Quick summons to everyone that has a personal flotation device. The latest thing now are called suspenders. They automatically inflate if you fall in the water.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to remind everybody that uses one, check the cylinder and make sure it is still well armed. These things, inexplicably, they will discharge, and you may not realize it. I had 2 of them this week I had to replace. I did not even know that they had gone bad. So everybody that's got one, I want them to make sure today would be a good day to do it. Check those life jackets, those made by Onyx and the ones with Mustang. And Scott Swansby was a retired Navy SEAL. He developed them back in the 70s. Make sure that you have a fully charged CO2 cartridge and check it. And if it needs to be changed, change it. Save your life.
Oh, boy, that's the best recommendation of the morning, that's for sure, and the best that we've had lately. Wonderful job.
Got to do it.
You bet.
Hunters wear their devices in the trees.
Yeah.
Why not put one on in the boat? Doesn't cost anything. They're well worth it.
All right, now
take a look at the newest stuff from Lowrance too. We got a new product out, Lowrance.com. Everybody take a look at it. You can actually see the fins of fish.
All right, I got to go, pal. Call me back. I'll get to you. I'll get to you earlier next week.
Good day.
Thanks, pal. You bet. All right, well, we'll see you. We'll be back in a minute. All right, we're going to get to the other callers in just a moment. However, we have the Axis Tools reciprocating saw trivia question. If you would like to win an Works Tools reciprocating saw, and this is a great hand tool, be the first caller at 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255 and answer the following question. It's difficult, and I made it difficult because the award, the prize, is a good one. I have one of these, and it works. All right, here's the question. In what lake was the first Bassmasters Classic Championship, and who won it? 1971, the first Bassmasters Classic Championship lake, and who won that tournament? That is your question. You know the telephone numbers. Call. And if you get those 2 things correct, we'll send you the Axis tool. So there you are. Right now, who's up next? Shane is calling. Good morning, Shane. This is O'Neill. You're on the radio.
Good morning, O'Neill. How are you?
Outstanding.
I'm be real quick. This is just my 3rd year hunting, man, and I hunt up in LJ off 282 on the side of a mountain.
Okay.
And I keep hearing about a secondary. I'm going hunting this morning, and there's a buck there that's been eluding me. Would it be beneficial to put out any kinks? Or I got corn out, but he's not coming to my corn. He's So I'm just curious, man. I know you're experienced and way more than I am, and I really want to get this buck.
if you have a chance, instead of using tinks is all right, but be very sparingly, okay? Don't cover yourself or your stand in it, all right? It becomes too obvious.
Right.
Are you going to have a chance to be around a campfire before you go into the woods?
No, sir.
Okay.
Not this morning.
Smoke from a campfire or smoke sometime this week, maybe get you a bee smoker and use the smoke from a bee smoker to take your scent away. It actually destroys the bacteria that causes your scent. Lastly, then, you very well may be in the midst of the beginning of the second rut. Now, that second rut is determined by whether or not there are does that have not been bred. I can only tell you you got to keep giving it a try, and based on that, I would tell you to stay in the woods all day.
That's what I plan on doing today. I've done told my wife. So, praise God.
Yep. You stay in the woods all day because that buck that you're looking for, if the rut is still going on, which it probably is, he's going to be up all day, and you'll likely kill him at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or see him at 1 o'clock as you are at 4 or 5 or 6 o'clock this evening.
Okay. So don't even come out and go to the truck to get nothing to eat. Just
take it with you. That's right.
Amen.
Take it in a plastic bag. Don't you leave the stand.
Okay.
Oh, you stay there all day. You prepare to be there all day. That's the way people take deer during the rut. In the 3 years now that you've been deer hunting, have you been successful so far?
Yeah, I've taken 6 shots and I've killed 4 bucks.
Oh, good for you.
So, yeah, I took 2 shots this year down at Piedmont. I took 1 down at Piedmont, and we couldn't find the deer, and then I missed with my bow back in bow season. But other than that, the Lord's blessed me. So,
well, that's wonderful.
Hoping you'll do it again today.
You've started off very well.
Yeah, I don't take shots to just shoot, man. I'm be sure I kill the animal and that it's legal. I've heard a lot of war stories from hunters over the years.
Oh yeah. The greatest thing that you have to hunt with is confidence. And it sounds like you have it.
Well, I just know God is good, man. So praise God.
That's right. Hey, now I got to tell you, you owe me a call next week now.
You know what? I'm up. I get up at 3 a.m. every morning. I drive a trash truck. I will do that, brother.
Please, you call me next week. Let me know what happened, okay?
I will do it. Thank you.
It's a deal. Thanks, Shane.
Yes, sir.
You bet. There you go. And 45 after the hour, we've got a chance here. Let's talk to let's go ahead and get our winner. The question is for the Axis 2 radio, the Axis 2 saw question is, in what lake was the first Bassmaster Classic Championship held, and who won it? And now we're going to talk to Sue, and she's calling from Canton. Good morning, Sue. You're on the radio.
Good morning. How are you?
How did you know the answer to this question?
My nephew is with me, and he knew it.
Isn't that great? All right.
Yes.
Where was the first Bassmasters Classic Championship held?
In Meade, Nevada.
What a choice! Because I can guarantee you, with great confidence, that none of those Classic Championship participants had ever fished that lake.
Oh, really?
Right. I mean, who from most of these guys are from the southeast. So how many of those do you think ever went to Nevada to go fishing?
Not very many.
Yeah, you bet. All right. Who won it?
Bobby Murray.
Bobby Murray. That's exactly right. And think about this. That was 49 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that great?
A long time ago.
Oh, yeah, you bet. All right, do we have your address and everything so we can send you the saw?
Yes, sir.
Good deal. Thank you, Sue, for being so prompt and listening to the program and giving us that correct answer.
All right, thank you, and you have a wonderful holiday.
You too, Sue. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, thank you.
Well, that was a surprise, wasn't it? To get that so quickly, I think that was a really terrific answer there. And let's see. Let's talk now to the next up is Mike. Mike is calling from Pennsylvania. Good morning, Mike. Hello, Mike. Have I lost Mike, Corey? I evidently lost Mike.
No, he should be up there.
Okay, let's see. Let me click on him again. Mike, are you there, sir? Are you on the radio?
He might have his phone muted.
Oh, well. Mike, are you there? One more time. Well, I wanted to talk to Mike. I'll just I'll put that on hold, and maybe we'll get back to Mike in a minute. Now, right now, then, let's talk to Reed, calling from Buford.
Hey.
Good morning, Reed.
Hey, O'Neill.
Hey.
We got the NBAA Georgia division out here at Old Federal Ramp fixing to
mighty fine.
I released a 6-7 inch crappie from a 3-pound largemouth at Lake Jackson one time.
Oh, dear.
And down at West Point, seen a copperhead come swimming by with about a 6 or 7 inch catfish stuck in his mouth.
It's happened if you spend the time outdoors, doesn't it?
Yeah, love it. All right, enjoyed your show.
Good. Thanks for calling, sir.
We're waiting to get out here and get after it.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got a very pleasant day coming up.
I hope so.
You got a very pleasant day. Good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. See you soon, my friend. There you are. There's now we've lost Mike. Okay, it's 49 after the hour. We have time for this, and so if we can get Corey, we'll introduce the Medal of Honor portion of the show.
Honor, courage, and strength of character. These qualities are embodied by the recipients of the Medal of Honor. Now let's recognize this week's Medal of Honor recipient on O'Neill Outside.
George Davis, Jr., Korea War, Major, U.S. Air Force. Action, February the 10th, 1952. While leading a flight of 4 F-86 Sabre jets on a combat aerial patrol mission near the Manchurian border, Major Davis, element leader, ran out of oxygen and was forced to retire from the flight. Major Davis and the remaining F-86s continued the mission and sighted a formation of approximately 12 enemy MiG aircraft speeding southward toward an area where friendly fighter bombers were conducting low-level operations. With selfless disregard for the numerical superiority of the enemy, Major Davis positioned his 2 aircraft, then dove at the MiG formation. While speeding through the formation from the rear, he singled out a MiG-15 and destroyed it. Although he was now under continuous fire from enemy fighters, Major Davis sustained his attack. He fired at another MiG-15 and that one burst into flames. Rather than maintain his superior speed and evade the enemy fire being concentrated against him, he elected to reduce his speed and sought out a third MiG-15. During this latest attack, his aircraft sustained a direct hit, went out of control, and crashed into the mountains 30 miles close to the river. Major Davis' bold attack completely disrupted the enemy formation, permitting the friendly fighter bombers to successfully complete their interdiction mission. Major Davis, by his fighting spirit, heroic aggressiveness, and superb courage in engaging the enemy against formidable odds, exemplified valor at his highest. George A. Davis, Major, U.S. Air Force, February the 10th, 1952. Major Davis died that day. He was 32 years old. That is a hero. He didn't score a touchdown. He didn't hit a home run. He didn't pitch a no-hitter. But he is a hero. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. This is O'Neill Outside, CVA and Realtree Radio every Saturday morning, and we do appreciate you joining us. It's always a pleasure to hear your fishing and hunting stories, to exchange ideas, the things you've seen on your hunting trips or that you think you've seen. And I've got quite a bit of that myself. So it's such a pleasure. And to reiterate that next year, 2021, which we're planning for, of course, boastingly, I would tell you that this is next year will be our 28th year on radio and our 40th year on television. And it's my opportunity in the next 15 seconds to recommend and encourage and invite you to go to Amazon.com or my website at O'NeillOutside.com and get a stocking stuffer called O'Neill Outside. I guarantee you'll enjoy it. This is O'Neill. I'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. A couple of things, reevaluation. Didn't we learn a lot today? From Mac Farr, terrific guide on Lake Lanier, we learned that most people in these deep water clear lakes, the greatest mistake they make is they don't fish deep enough. We learned from Ken Sturdivant that those fancy and very agreeable and very comfortable flotation devices with the little cartridge that inflates if you fall over, you need to inspect those cartridges and make sure they're still operating, because if you fall in the water and it doesn't inflate, you're probably going to die. Isn't that something? We learned, too, that people like John from New York and several other people have targeted certain deer. Instead of just hunting, they hunt a particular deer, which, gosh, makes it ever so much more fun and so much more interesting. We learned about the second rut. My personal recommendation that there's a rut, a first or a second rut going on, then indeed stay in the stand all day. And the most efficient, and to me, the best deterrent to scent in the woods is for you to get a bee smoker and smoke up your clothes with smoke from the bee smoker. It helps kill the bacteria that causes your scent. There's so many things to do and so many things to know, and that's what makes it wonderful. And lastly then, too, be sure and manage your photos. Take your time. The hunt has been concluded, that part, so clean up the blood, clean up the deer, and when you have the photos taken, be sure and don't put the rifle pointed toward your face. Now I'd like to leave you with this as we proceed into the week, and it's this. When I was young, I had ideas and plans. They all didn't work out, but I'm glad I had them. Enjoy the theme song. This is O'Neill, and I'll see you next week.
I once asked a mighty hunter, coming home from the field, how he came to possess such mighty hunting and fishing skill. He said, "I'll tell you a secret, son. I learned everything I know from listening to O'Neill Outside on my radio." O'Neill, O'Neill, O'Neill Outside.